This is what I imagine Cuba Gooden's character Trey was saying in the back of Boys in the Hood. I just want to
That's
I,
exact.
I just want to go back to that scene a little bit, just a little bit.
Sure, he didn't sound that high pitched, but I get it. I get it.
Jason was trying to audition just now, but we here. This is space to
But
do it. It's a
taking
good
five.
good comfortable space. But gentlemen, are y'all ready?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Was It Good Though podcast, where we review movies and TV shows. I am one of your hosts. I am Jazz,
And I am Jason.
and we are here to close out Euphoria for our side quest reviews. That's right, for season three. We are going to be reviewing episode 8. And for anybody who is new here, we were able to do our side quest reviews to discuss every episode from this season. So y'all please be sure to check that out. Also, please be sure to like, subscribe, rate, review. Check out our episodes that we drop during every Tuesday, along with our other side quest reviews and our queued up as requested. We are out here dropping content for y'all. All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and get this together. I hope y'all have y'all Kleenexes. I have mine. Not really, but we'll see how this goes. Jason, I want to start with you on this question because you jumped on Euphoria late. You weren't in the trenches like some of us. So, with us getting this finale, what were your feelings after everything was done?
I was pleased personally. I was like I don't hate season three as much as a lot of the day ones do. But again, you're a day one, your feelings may be a bit more invested than mine. I enjoyed the show for the most part from what it was. I do think it's still a travesty. I am doubling down on what I feel about Nate's character. I don't care how y'all feel about it. And y'all think and feel as if because the things that he did in the previous season, his past transgressions uh allowed for his character or how his death went was okay. I still don't think that was okay. But beyond that, I definitely think I enjoyed this season. And the finale, I think the last three episodes, especially 7 and 8, helped make the season a bit more for me. But yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay. I definitely respect that. And I know you were talking to a lot of the people that was in our TikTok comments because Jason Jason's like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead into the episode and speak out my grievances to y'all. I ain't going in the comments. Fuck all y'all niggas. But Anthony, let me ask you because since we've been talking throughout the past 8 weeks and you've been on previous side quest episodes for this, is it fair to say that you've had your issues with this season?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it was just it's not the vibes. I don't flow with vibes. I think it was basically season one and season two felt very grounded and real and intense. And you felt like, man, I think I know a Ruby Bennett. I may know a Jules. Hell, sadly, I might even know a Cassie or a Nate. But when we get to this third season, I'm going to say episodes 1 through 5 were like a really bad fever dream. It was over the top. It was, as I've said before, it felt like Sam was in a sandbox with all these toys and he just started to make this outlandish ass Quentin Tarantino-esque kind of series for this season. I think it slowly started to get ground level when we get, I think it's episode 6 when we get the Alamo backstory.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And then I sat there and I said, okay, this is how this season should have been. This
right.
is where things you could still have your grindhouse. Oh, I want to look at feet and what's that girl Sydney Sweeney's titties? That's fine. That's cool. But what made Euphoria such a great series with season 1 and 2 is the ground level feel, that in the gutter feel of seeing these young teenagers do some of the most outlandish and stupidest shit. Me being old, not old, but old, I can still relate to that because I was a teenager once and I did dumb shit. Now, I wasn't popping pills, you know, an occasional 40 here and there, or, a little tab of acid once in a blue moon. But
Yo,
I said once in a blue moon.
I ain't never seen a blue moon. What the world?
yo, to go from a
From
trip to
acid, you will.
acid was a crazy leap. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my God. But this is a safe space. No judgment. No judgment.
Just like Lori, he jumped off the ledge.
Woo.
Let's not. But no, hang out with white kids, you'll see. Um, I really think he found his center again with 6, 7, and 8.
Hmm.
And that helped kind of ease me back into, okay, okay, I see where this is what I fell in love with. And when did Euphoria drop? 2021, I believe, 2020.
I feel
I
like
Originally,
believe is
because
when
it was
originally was
because it's been
2019.
2020,
7 years.
2019.
2019. Okay. Yeah, because there was the huge gap and everything.
Yeah.
So what I saw in 2019 is what I saw and fell in love with is what I saw in episode 6, 7, and 8. Yes, he still went into his outlandish storytelling, but to have those intros, those beginning scenes
Hmm.
with Alamo, which I felt like, oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I am not violent towards my sisters, but Alamo mama would have got drop kick in her throat. Um, and then to have the moment of Ali's story, that
Yeah.
hurt. And I was like, all right, Sam, you got me back. So yeah, it's a ebb and flow. Um, but I'm while I'm happy it's gone, I'm sad that it's gone. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. I'm happy and
No.
sad that it's done.
No, I definitely understand that. And I think I'm aligned with y'all to where the end of the season, to me, where the tides changed to where it started to feel like the original Euphoria. Because I know last week we pretty much discussed, and I think Jason, you asked me if this final episode is fire, does it change the tone that I have for the entire season? And I believe I said yes. And I will say, get a little ahead of myself, this finale definitely changed the tides for me for this season. But I'm still gonna hold Sam accountable for a lot of things because with it being completely over, you can see misses and you can see
Mm-hmm.
shortcomings to where it's just like, okay, you spent too much time over there because nothing came from it. And I feel like they definitely wasted Sharon Stone. I feel like they did not utilize Coleman Domingo enough and the actor that plays Bishop. You had strong
Mm-hmm.
characters in this, but you felt the need to put a lot of dedication, time, and energy in 2 week storylines. But we gonna get to them. We gonna get to them. But let's start off with where Rue is in this opening episode. Whew, Jason, I thought of you when I saw this scene of Rue and Q in the car and you got the title card because I was just like, I know Jason probably would have went crazy if he was in the car with them because Marshawn Lynch is hilarious in this role. And she was like, did you see what happened? He said, fuck what you did. Did you see me shoot him? So like the way that entire scene happened, like of course we saw Faye, your girl Faye, where we left her last week, and to see where how that beginning scene panned out. Were you expecting that? Were you laughing at it? Were you enjoying it? We got
I
some Rue running.
Man, let's say, okay, so we got Rue running again. This is classic Rue. She on the run. I'm like,
Run,
man,
Roo,
what is she
run.
gonna do? And she running. First off, when you start the episode, Fate. I don't want to talk about how people look. I'm not gonna talk about how she looked. She's screaming in the previous episode. I'm like, yes, knock
Mm-hmm.
this bitch out, knock her out. I needed that to happen. Then like so you get this nice little chase scene. Rue is trying to escape, and Wayne is shooting after he's been hurt,
Mm-hmm.
chasing her. And then you see her out. She made it outside, but then you hear the horse go. I was like, damn, not another horse. That nigga on that horse. Shoot that nigga off that nag. Shoot that nigga off that nag. And I'm like, where the fuck is G
Q.
at? Where
Oh,
where
gee,
is
I'm
he
sorry. I
at?
don't know why I call him Q.
Where is he at?
Because I called him Anthony, my bad.
He was
I'm like,
sleeping.
fucking then I'm like, okay, there we go. Now we get the shot. I thought he shot him in the head, but in the shoulder, okay, cool. He had to because that's why he was just hyped, because he was just like, shit, I got the shot off, nigga. You should be happy. Within this, and I'm just like, yes, bro. I was at the end, like I said, them last three episodes, I'm at the edge of my seat, like, okay, I'm locked in. Let's see what they're gonna get. So I was like I said, when I after seeing it, I was like, oh man, this is exhilarating. They finna kill us at the end of this. I knew it was too high level in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
like high octane, I guess. But I knew it was going to dip, but I knew it was going to take a hard nosedive at some point within the episode. But I definitely enjoyed this intro scene with Rue and of course G or Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, because I'll say, because anytime we saw Rue, Rue rarely got caught. And I didn't think about this until I was on my rewatch. I was like, so you mean to tell me the only time Rue gets snatched up or caught is when somebody puts a rope around her? Use your third eye, y'all. Use your third eye. Sam, I caught on to what you trying to say. Because he had a lot
But
of little crumbs in there.
now Alamo caught her every time she did something crazy though.
Well,
Remember he buried her. He got her buried.
his other homeboys buried her because Rue, dumbass, was sitting there digging her own grave.
No, no, no.
I mean,
But
like in a
it was,
situation
but
where
it,
she
but it
was
was.
running and got caught.
Run. Okay, Runner didn't get caught. You correct. But I was gonna say she got caught every time by Alamo, and it was always his. I mean, under his orders. Because remember, he pulled up on her and Maddie. That's how she met Maddie through Rue
Oh
at the
yeah.
diner.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
you know,
mean,
but yeah. But I get what you saying. I'm with you though. I'm with you.
because you know a
Yeah, yeah.
crackhead can't never get caught if they running. But until a rope was involved,
Unless it's a bike. Unless they holding the bike.
Well, but
Rue
also
doesn't.
you have to look
I'm talking
at
about
it when
Wanda.
Rue. The one thing that's crazy about Rue is that she always finds a way when she's pinned in the corner.
Batman.
Exactly. She always finds a way to get out of it. Okay, so we'll call her Rue Wayne or
No, Anthony,
Bruce
don't
Bennett. I
don't
don't
Ooh,
know.
Rue
subscribe to
Wayne.
that.
Rue Wayne. That's if he had a daughter named Rue
Ruby
Wayne, that'll
Wayne.
go hard.
Ruby Wayne is
Ruby
nasty
Wayne.
work.
That's a white lady.
But again, like even in season one and season two, those predicaments she finds herself in, there's always an escape hatch waiting. All she's got to do is just trigger it. You know, it was what season two where she was running like Flojo, running through the streets. I'm like, okay, somebody gonna hit this girl, hit her with the car. Just do it. There's got to be a consequence. And that mofo found a way to get through the busiest of California traffic,
Yeah.
and escape the situation. So yeah, they last hold her ass. But again, she has an escape hatch, and that was G. And G would and I will say this: I need Marshawn Lynch in more projects.
Yeah.
I need him in more projects. I I I think he's a natural. I don't know why. I know, some of the most staunchest critics will be like, he doesn't have. There's something about Marshawn Lynch. He has this. I'm gonna use one of those fancy words, a youthful exuberance. When
Marshawn does not get a script. Marshawn is just said,
no,
go in there and you let us know how you feel about that situation.
well, did you see? Have y'all watched the videos that's been coming out with post finale interviews with everybody?
Sometimes
Marshawn was like,
sometimes I watch.
Marshawn is crazy.
Sometimes I'm watching, but I didn't
Hmm.
because I said I know he wanted to do his
Okay,
own. He wanted to do his own stunts, but they
on
didn't. They
stunt.
didn't. They didn't let him.
No, because like he said, man, insurance, man, insurance. I got to
Right. Like, ain't
stunt
nobody.
double. I got to let stunt double do it. And I'm like, well, he's been a football player. He's been tackled, but
That's a little
Marshawn is so
different. That's a little
massive. Yeah,
different.
it is different.
Yeah.
But
If I was,
one of the
I would.
interviews. Oh no, go ahead, Jess.
No, I was just gonna say like I'm putting insurance on you. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
no, this stunt double was gonna be here. I don't care what you gotta say. But go ahead, Anthony. I'm sorry.
Marshawn, this is Jeff. He's your friend now. But no, he said in one of the little interviews, it wasn't on the stuff after eight,
Hmm.
the show aired, but it was stuff with I think Entertainment Tonight and a few other media outlets. He basically said, I get in there, man, and Sam and the rest of the crew, they would come and say, okay, well, you sitting with Zendaya and Addie's right here, and I can't remember the brother who played Bishop. And he go, I got a script, right? And Sam just look at him, just go with it. What they gave him more was outlines. And they would
Mm,
say, what do you think? Like you said, what do you think G would say when this part hits? Now, there is a little bit of script. There's some script for him to read, but most,
yeah,
I think he said like 80 to 90% of it is ad libs in him. You know, like when
yeah.
he told Zendaya, girl, you walking like your booty stink. Or like you didn't wipe your ass or something like that after you
Nah,
remember she had
you said
bashed
it
her head
right.
to the
You said it
dash.
right the first time.
Okay. You walk like your booty stink.
Yeah.
That's not in the script.
Nah, I definitely get that. But I enjoyed his character in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think of like during that end scene where he is talking with Coleman Domingo, Ali. When he asked him, he was just like, "Is Alamo here?" Like he didn't even say any words. He was humming it to
Right.
where he was livid inside. Like this motherfucker got this gun on me. I can't do nothing. I'm sitting here like I know Marshawn did this on his own. There was no script for him to react this way. Like he definitely sold it. But his character was authentic. So I would say he definitely did a good job. But Anthony, we got Rue getting the IDs and everything back to Alamo, and we see the, I guess you could say the setup to where we end up seeing Rue later on in the episode. And it definitely reminded me of how he was speaking on Angel at the beginning of the season, to where it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, yeah, go ahead, take her to that rehab clinic so she can get help. And then Rue's like, oh, that's really nice of you. He said, I take care of my girls. It's just like he was kind of selling her on that as well. And then when you saw him take a pill and give it to her, when I first watched it, I was like, well, did he take those out that bottle? But then I was just like, no, he didn't. He had already had them out. So
Mm-hmm.
did you expect it to be, because I mean, we talked about it to where we all said we don't think Rue's going to survive this series. So
Right.
I don't
We
think
pretty
her.
much all predicted. I had the pseudo happy ending of her finding a way uh to survive and probably go to prison. But I just
Not
want
you sending Rue to jail.
hey, I'd rather you in the pen than underground. But I think with Alamo, Ruby was a, I hate to say it, she was the greatest liability to everything for him. She got the license, the light driver's license and passports back. That was the greatest currency for Alamo. The money wasn't the money. He get money every day. You know, his girls bring in tons of money, but the main treasure was those passports and IDs. But now that Rue's seen it, I got to take you out. I have to remove you and take you off the chessboard. One, you're brand new to this. And two, your mouth. Even though she keeps things to herself, Rue talks. Rue does talk. She may not give you the whole story, but it would be just enough to make all roads lead to Alamo. So I personally thought Alamo had to take her out. And also it is his whole little what's his motto? Don't never let a bitch get over you again because of what his mom did. Because his mom played him. At the end of the day, his mom used him. And he
Hmm.
was like, I'm never gonna let another woman do that to me again. You know. And that's the sad part. Cause I was sitting there watching it, just yelling, Ruby Bennett, don't you put that shit in your mouth. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, girl. Didn't you find God? You saw a
That
burning Joshua tree?
yeah, that was the moment I knew her fate was sealed when she took it.
Mm-hmm.
When she was like, because I thought if she would have put it down, I think she would have been okay. But them
Yeah.
allowing her to take it for pain was gonna be the issue because
But he
she.
told her, hey, don't fuck up now. With the drugs and everything earlier
Mhm.
in the season. He tried that like he was, I guess it was a play, it could be. He actually was kind of concerned for Ruby,
He
because
was, but I
until
think
everything.
so yes, the cards was one part of it,
Mm-hmm.
but the real thing was Lexi. Lexi was
Yeah.
the real issue. Lexi not believing her and just taking whatever she said and giving the information to Maddie, and
Mm-hmm.
Maddie just passing the information back to Alamo. Because that wasn't just like that wasn't just word of mouth, just a fly by night type of scene. Alamo took
Yeah.
that to heart. He was like, oh, this bitch talking, and she worked with the
Mm-hmm.
DEA. So you see, because I in my mind, I'm not even looking at the play the entire time when Bishop was in Mexico with them. Like I'm not
Uh-huh.
even looking at that. I don't even they didn't I don't think they ever showed him taking truck. But when the guy Coke went missing, I was like, damn, why you throw the nigga Coke away? That didn't make no sense.
They
But
swapped
then
out.
they swapped out the cars. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that Coke is still in the other car that Bishop
Yeah.
was driving. Then I'm like, they got a whole bunch of Cokes this episode. But that's where it actually came from. So that didn't because that's what Alamo gave Ruby,
Yeah,
not gave Rue, and that's what they
right.
drunk in there. But also the guy was drinking it as well.
They sponsoring Coke like hell in this.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if Coca-Cola wanted that kind of
They don't give a damn, bro.
okay.
Um, but in that, that was where it actually came from. So it was twofold. One, you know too much about my business now, but
Mm-hmm.
he paid her, so I think she would have had he paid her, and it was a choice. So in that situation, he didn't technically do anything, but he
Yeah.
left her. He
Yeah.
he left it up to chance. If she take these
Right.
pills, she's out of here. But if she leave the pills, she gonna come back and we good.
And you
No
know
no
what?
harm, no foul.
I
Do
like that. I like that outlook because everything with them was destiny or playing with the fates, or it
Mm-hmm.
came to chance. Because the way they met came to chance. When he put the what was it, the apple on her head and was doing the
Mm-hmm.
little William Tell thing, but with a goddamn revolver.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think God wants me here. Bomb. Okay, you know what? She escaped death so much
It had to
in three
come.
seasons. It had
It
to
had
come.
it had it had to. Um,
so, Jason, I
what
got a
you got,
question for
Jess?
you. Do you think if she didn't take those pills and she came back a week later, you don't think Alamo would have tried to kill her? I think she was going to be gone regardless if
Mm.
she would have went back to Alamo.
In my personal
Now,
opinion, I don't. In my personal opinion, I don't think so. But I also think the situation with what's her name? I think the
okay,
situation with Maddie would have played a part
Mm-hmm.
of what happened to Rue as well. I think whatever ended up happening with Maddie and Alamo, I think that would have played a part in their relationship. Just my personal opinion.
because I guess if Alamo would have got the information of seeing the DEA show up at Lori and them house,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't take those pills. He would have found that out because the girls knew all the details. The girls knew everything. So why
Mm-hmm.
even keep Rue around you in your business if you know she was talking to the DEA? To where she's still a liability if she never took those pills. To
Yeah,
where only
yeah.
outcome for Rue would have been to kill her if she would have went back to Alamo. Now, I personally don't think if she didn't take those pills that she would have went back because she didn't need to because
That
she
now
had the
that
money.
now that makes more sense to me. Now I think she would have probably went to Texas like she said she was gonna
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what would have. I don't think because you're right. I don't. Okay, so yes, I'm riding with you because no, I don't think she would have went back to Alamo. That's where I'm confused in that. So yeah, I don't think she would have went back.
Yeah.
in that
Because
situation. But if she
because you
Yeah.
went
got the
back,
money that you need, and then you just were able to walk away from that entire experience. There's no
Yeah.
way I would go back to that. And so it's just like she's got the money. She's able to go ahead and get that fresh start. She pretty much, Lori's out of here,
Hmm.
so she don't have to worry about that. And Alamo's like,
Y'all
take a
can't be
week
dissing
off.
my
Look,
Lori.
we gonna get to Lori, but I'm just like, she didn't need to go back because she was just doing it
No.
temporary to get money. And with as much as he gave her, that's what makes her death so heartbreaking because it's just like, okay, with everything that we've seen her go through after these past 7 years, she was right at the door.
Hmm.
She was at
The
the door.
ultimate,
This
the
was the
ultimate
last,
escape
it was the
hatch.
last job. It's like the
Yep.
last job, and then we gonna be rich. It's the last thing we gotta do before we go out of the country. It's always the last one that makes it so heartbreaking because it's just like you got away with all of it all of these years, but this one time where you weren't trying to get high, you were just trying to alleviate the pain in your hand, and the pills were laced. Because when I saw, well, we'll get to that. I don't want to get to Ali quite yet because, whoo,
Alamo Brown. Okay. Well,
oh, man, listen. But so in the beginning, we also see that we have the entire drug deal happening. And Jason, you
hmm
mentioned how like the whole swapping of the coke and everything. I personally feel like Jason, I told you this. I hate that Wayne and Faye survived, but somebody said roaches survived Doomsday, so there you go. That makes sense
Yeah.
for them.
hmm
That analogy made sense. I was like, okay, yeah, you got to have some roaches survive. Okay. But can you imagine like Lori going through all of that and there's no drugs? Like there's nothing
yes,
for
hmm
them to arrest you on.
Yeah.
yes, I can.
No, but that's paranoia.
It is because she was just like, I can't go to jail. Like I'm already in trouble. I got enough
Hmm.
things on my plate. I don't need anything else. Like fuck it, I'm just gonna end it. But I think that's one of them situations where it's kind of she reminds me of Cassie. Cassie jumps into things head first without looking at all situations because
Hmm.
she gave up the OnlyFans to be an actress, only to end up losing being an actress. So she lost two things at the same exact time. Well, three because she ended up losing Nate same exact time. So she lost every like you just like when you put too much in one basket, that's what kind of happens in those scenarios, unfortunately. And she played herself
Hmm.
there. So
But also, Lori's never been to jail. If you go from her introduction, I think it's what season two, we're introduced
Yeah.
to
mhm.
Lori and her crew. Lori has never been in any kind of going to prison situation. Alamo had already explained it in season three. I took that bitch from the suburbs and made her pop and made her big with the drugs I bought from her. Lori probably was a suburbanite housewife or just a suburbanite girl who, I guess, intrigued by the life or I was bored with her suburbanite life and wanted to make a little money and some excitement and buy all the birds she can buy. And when trouble comes a knocking, I'm done. I cannot go to jail. She was like Anthony Anderson in Malibu's Most Wanted. When he said, I can't go to prison, I'm tender. you know, that that's the thing. She was not made for that. Like she enjoyed the spoils. She
Yeah.
enjoyed the fear that Wayne and his daddy and the rest of the inbred Jeds would, you know, give to others about her. But she wasn't built. She wasn't built for the fight. She wasn't built for the journey. She
Mm.
enjoyed the spoils. But when them spoils were coming to an end, and all she had to do was wait 5 minutes. Five. Because everybody else, they was done. The only one that was on a gurney was Wayne's dad, because they went to treat him for his shoulder, I think.
Yeah.
But
And
everybody
Kitty.
else, and Kitty,
Kitty went through so
with
much this episode.
she
It's
got her
crazy.
BBL though. She got her
She did.
BBL.
But she was
It did
just
not
in and
look
out of
right.
situations.
Yes.
I
She's
was
okay.
like,
Kitty's okay.
yeah.
She's gonna be
She,
all
I
right.
mean, we saw Kitty's BBL more than we saw Jules. There's not much to say about Jules in this episode, so we can go ahead and continue on with that. But no,
The
the
Coke had more the Coke
The
had more
coke
scenes.
and
I
Jules.
like there. I'm thinking Sam really don't rock with her because she had no lines, and it's
Mhm.
funny because somebody on Twitter, and Twitter has been hilarious since this finale drop, was just like, so you mean to tell me you drew a painting of Rue and Hale? Like, is this your
Yeah,
dedication to her? Like they was killing their artwork, and I was just like, oh, I do see it, but
yeah. She's
They said it
surrounded
was
by hellfire
it was ruined in a euphoria in a euphoric state.
and
yeah,
hellfire.
And she actually drew that.
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
Hmm.
She's an
100.
artist. She's an
It
actual
was no
artist.
no breasts or dicks on this painting. So at least she's
No,
moving up in a different, more cleaner direction. Because that would have been
but you know
crazy if
what?
she.
I'll
She's
be
moving
honest
past
with
those
you.
transgressions.
Yeah,
You got. I know it's June, Jason, but you gotta chill.
What? That's a
it's
real
Pride Month.
word.
We know.
Yeah, it is. Not like he said she was a transmission, but um,
Nah, go ahead, Anthony.
yes.
Of the Talking Niche
No,
You can't even
podcast.
get it out. Right, now we out of here. He's from
no.
Talking Ish, a podcast amongst friends. If you go get us
And
out of here, get him out of here too, damn it.
we already
We a
shadow banned.
family.
Jason has already declared we've been shadow banned. No, I what I really loved that even though we didn't get a lot of Jules, that scene with Jules was the one of the most powerful though. The painting, okay,
She
but it's
sold it
that
though.
silence and it's the pain and it's the because keep in mind the last time her and Rue got together,
Great scene.
it
It was a
was a
good scene.
it was like
Put a head through the table.
it was the Europeans coming to colonize the Africans with that slap. Um, it was a hard slap. And her last words to her were, get the fuck out of my painting. That was it. It's the same thing with Lexi. It ended on, it didn't end the way she wanted it to end. They couldn't tell her how much they loved her. But like you said with Lexi kind of played her off. Like, okay, whatever. You're doing the Bible thing. You know, I'm not down with that. All right, well, go listen to the Bible in the corner. But
Harder
with
for her to read that
Jules,
motherfucker.
yeah,
Right.
but Jules was the most for me the most realistic of the grieving because of the argument that was before, the slap that happened after, and the fact that it just that was the absolute end. You can't go back. You can't say how much you really do care for her. You can't say you're sorry. It is done, finite, finished, kaput. Now you got to live in that, you know. And doing the painting, that was a cathartic moment. I hope I'm using it in the right way. I do read y'all, trust me. Um, it was very therapeutic. And I don't think it was made out of malice of saying, you in hell, bitch. Ah. I think that hellfire really represents everything that Rue has gone through.
Yeah.
But if you notice, she's not being consumed by it. She's just surrounded, like it's behind her. It's her backdrop. You
Hmm.
don't see flames on her arms or on her face. She's not burning on it. It's almost like she's laying down in it
On
in
a
a lot of
Joshua
ways.
tree.
Yeah. Like this is not, maybe it's not hellfire. Maybe it is that heavenly fire, that God burned the bush to speak to Moses. That maybe, just maybe, she's being enveloped by the warmth of God's love. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going there. I'm going there. You see how
I like
Euphoria
it.
got me in some religious shit, and I don't even do that religion.
That just means
I
it was
just
able to tap into its original energy from the first two seasons because,
exactly. It found
yeah.
my inner it found my inner Catholic that I've been hiding for so long and
And I
just
was gonna
said,
say you
let it
probably
out.
over there taking pills
I ain't taking
to
pills.
get
I
you.
said acid woman
Tabs,
different.
tab,
But
Stamp,
tabs.
stamp it.
but y'all, let's get into one of the most heartbreaking points of this episode, of course, is, and Jason, you mentioned it last week that you were just like, stay away from Ali if you're going through some things in your life because his track record is not good. And when I
No,
saw
it is
this
not.
episode, I said, I hate when Jason be right on certain things. This was one of them because it made me chuckle a little bit when I should not have been chuckling. But when I watched it the next morning, I was able to get and tap into
You
my
chortle?
emotions.
Did you
It's because I
chortle?
said, "Oh, Jason was right." But
Oh man.
because the
Tough,
thing is,
tough.
did we ever see from the even the first two seasons where Rue stayed at Ali's house? We never really saw that. So this is the first time we're actually
Mhm.
seeing him in his space. She's not at Lexi's because, of course, they had that argument to where it's like the universe brought you here, especially after seeing his flashback episode.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So it's just the story leading us down this path with a lot of foreshadowing that we probably, well, I'll speak for myself that I did not catch, but I was just like, a lot of stuff is coming back up. When Jason, we were talking about how they should have tested those drugs, and I
I
think
talk,
episode one or two,
I said
and
that you gotta test it. Why
Mhm.
are y'all not testing drugs that come
and the
into
fact
y'all place?
and the fact that he had that and he was just he saw her, and I'm just sitting here like, Sam, I feel like this season as a whole you had something here that could have been great and amazing, but you just took different routes to get to where we are right now. And you can kiss my ass for doing that because there was so much potential
Somebody
here.
might not be mad at
Mhm.
that, Jazz. You gotta stop
You,
offering up your ass.
oh, yes. But Anthony, I'm gonna go to you first because
Mhm.
Jason got his shades on and he wilding. Leading up to this scene, because of course we also get a dedication to Fez, which
Mhm.
I thought was beautiful,
Yeah.
very emotional.
And
And I
was not
said,
AI.
I said, you motherfucker. But leading up to the scene when Ali wakes up for the first time
Mhm.
to when he makes that call to Rue's mom, how did all of that scene feel for you?
At first I was like, wait a minute. We so Fez got out using parkour. When I heard that, I said, wait, something's not right. But let me ride with it. Because the way Ali woke up, he woke up cheerful. Like if you notice it, like he springs up, which I kind of figured, the TV woke him up, but he had a kind of a smile on his face a little bit. And then, he walks out and there's Rue grubbing, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, he's out. I gotta go get him. I gotta go takes off. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, but Fez got out of the prison using parkour. Okay, all right. Sam, you're in your grindhouse Quentin Tarantino mode. All right, here we go. And all of a sudden, when she gets in the old neighborhood, when she gets to the convenience store where Fez them they owned it. Fez owned the
Yeah,
store, right?
yeah.
And it's boarded up and it's in shambles. I was like, okay, all right, let's keep going. And she gets to, close to her house. And I say, oh, I forgot. I figured we were gonna see Mama Bennett. We were going to see her. Finally, really, really see her. And they would have a moment, some interaction. It was when she was driving slow and they replayed the first time she pretty much met Jules. And I went, I'll be damned. This motherfucker about no, this ain't right. Nope. I had to go and hit. The hit the up button on my controller to see where I am time wise. And when I saw 39, 37 minutes, I said, oh, okay, okay. I got a strong feeling he gonna go the big route. She gonna die in this huge blaze of glory, not with guns or anything, but it's gonna be a very ethereal death at the end of the show, and it's gonna go to black.
I didn't. Yeah, no,
Man,
y'all are some hopeful ass niggas, man.
I
this
know you're
mother
not talking, Jason. As many times you be hopeful during shows,
I
you
didn't.
have your moments too.
But in this situation, the moment they said this nigga used parkour to get out of jail, I said,
parkour,
"Oh, she
yeah,
died." I said she died on us already. As soon as
yes.
they
Stop.
said
Are you
on my mom,
serious?
as soon as they said he did part, I said, "Oh, she gone. That's it." I had already started feeling it, like, and I'm like, "Oh, they feel take us down memory lane because this is
Mm-hmm.
it's it." And that's it. Her
For
daddy
me, it
hug
was
her.
the
It was a wrap.
yeah. For me, it was the moment when she saw Jules, and they show her from season one. When you see younger Zendaya, I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. And she's running on the roof, and she gets in the house. You came in from your bedroom window. You didn't make much noise, but she's going through the house and she sees the plant from season one. And I'm just sitting there going, yeah, this is goodbye. This is goodbye. But the moment they showed her mom, I just stopped. It was almost like I couldn't even breathe because she didn't say much. She just kind of came around the corner, almost like a little kid who's trying to get their parents' attention after they did something bad, just to see if, mom and dad still mad at me. They do that little cute, kid thing where, you see a little fat ass face and you're like, oh, I want to smack you, but you're too cute. Let me give you a hug and tell you everything's okay. And lo and behold, that was it. When she said mom and it got in slow motion, and they show her hand, and I'm like, yeah, this girl, this sorry, Sam Levinson, I did call you that. I said this nigga gonna kill Zendaya with not even a third of the damn show over. Fuck you. I hate you, but damn, Rue had to go. And I
Great
said
death.
she took the
It was a great.
damn pills. It was great.
It was a
I
great
loved
death.
it. It was shot beautifully. But I will say this. This was the fucking best time for you to go find Labyrinth, apologize, and let that man just score this scene. Even though what Hans did, I thought was really good. I love that. I really did like the music they chose for it.
We gotta move. We gotta move this
We
breakup.
got
We
to
gotta
move
move
on.
No,
past it. This is
listen,
We got
it's
listen,
to move
listen.
over.
past.
We
You're
knew
right.
this before the season even
I'll
began.
Yes.
I'll move on once we stop this episode because I'm not going to talk about it after this. But tonight I'm talking about it, Jason. So you're going to have to hear it. Anthony, I completely agree with you because I'm sitting here at this episode and I said Labyrinth would have destroyed this to where tears would
Mm-hmm.
have been all over the place. This scene and the scene where Cassie is at her house by herself and in that silent
Oh.
scene to where I'm just sitting here like there are so many moments. I'm like, Sam, you should have put a Homelander on um Butcher. You should have did that. You should have
Mm-hmm.
got on your knees and said, I will suck your. He should have did it
No.
just for this episode because we needed it, Anthony. Because you go to season one and go to season
Mm-hmm.
two where it's like Jason fix your face, where it's just like we think Zendaya is dead. She
Yeah.
might be, but when she actually is, he would
And
have I I just want to
you know
see.
what?
I know somebody's gonna edit to where it's like what
Please.
this scene would have looked like if Labyrinth was involved. I need to see that. I know it's gonna come
And
out
I'll
in the next 48
I'll
hours.
be brutally honest. I really thought I was gonna hear "Ooh Lord, you know I'm tired."
Oh God.
If that would have came on, I'm sorry.
But
I'm
see, Ali
6'2",
said it
three
when
plus. I ooh,
Ali
I'd have
said it. He
been
said,
in
"I'm
tears.
tired," and I
Yeah,
said, "I guess that's all we're gonna get from a black man saying I'm tired of this." Labyrinth, it should have
but
been you.
it should have been. But again, Hans, I think with the assignment, I think he fulfilled it. I think he understood it. I thought the music fit perfectly, but it's the shot. The best shot for me in that moment was seeing her hand go down after she takes that last breath, and they went back to her hand, and you just see it move away. Like it goes out of frame. And I just went,
Spider-Man.
I was done. I
This
was
That's all I that's all
done.
that's all I was thinking. I was thinking like Spider-Man
Oh,
trying to
oh,
I'm
reach
not
up and
oh
grab.
yeah.
Like that's what I felt. That's what I feel.
Like Gwen Stacy.
Ali was what actually contextualizes what actually
Mm-hmm.
happens, or what he did, what needed to be done
Right.
for this actual scene, him in the meeting with all the people, and having a conversation
Yeah.
about
That
right
was
and
hard as
wrong,
hell.
having a conversation about what, people being right and wrong, and actually empathizing with addicts, but that means you need to be empathetic to drug sellers, or
Mm-hmm.
the drug
the
dealers,
dealers.
dealing with drug dealer. But he said, but I think the issue really with the world is right and wrong, and I think that what led to his revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in that next scene of him, sawing off the shotgun, because I definitely was like, man, that was tough just listening to it. And that's when I was
Mm-hmm.
like, damn, that's when I actually, began to tear up, because it was just like, damn. I thought about my uncle in that moment,
Okay.
because, like I said, you have, like I said, I know Sam, even at the end, he said he was on drugs real bad, and he may have been a root, had he continued down the path that he was going down. And like I said, some people, I don't. There are people that do come back from these situations. Like I
Yeah.
said, it isn't an all the time thing, but it is a constant battle for some people, and some people unfortunately succumb to the disease. And like I said, that is Rue's story. So like I said, I wasn't upset with the way Rue's story went. I know a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are. It seems like even her parent was. Um, but I mean, like I said, I just think to the story, for me, it made the most sense for
Mm-hmm.
her to succumb to that. Like I said, she would have come on the other side, or that would have been dope too. I think that would have been a dope
Mm-hmm.
situation. Maybe they could have did like an alternative thing to show what that would have
Right.
looked like for her. But her coming to that, like I said, I think it does bring it. Her coming to her death allows for this season to be what it was continuously. Like it allows that
Mm-hmm.
story to continue in that grindhouse type of, Tarantino type of moment. Because it almost kind of felt like Maya, isn't it? I think Maya Wallace, whatever.
Mia
So
Wallace.
Mia Wallace from Pulp
Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what it kind of felt like, and he felt like, I mean, I know it wasn't him, but Samuel Jackson's character was Ali going to avenge, or get to
Yeah.
avenge her death in that moment. So that's what they kind of felt like for me.
But also, what I really, really enjoyed about that whole moment, Rue didn't OD like you would think she should have. If you go back from season 1 and 2, she lived in excess.
Yeah.
Rue lived in the land of excess. There was no drug strong enough to where one and done and she could sit her ass down and enjoy it. No, she had to have everything. She was very
Yeah.
gluttonous with her
Yeah.
drugs. And like he said, I think it was you or Jason said it, that pill wasn't for enjoyment or to get high. It was to take care of the pain of her hand, plain and simple. She was actually going to use the perk for what perks are intended for, pain relief, not take me to another place. No,
Yeah.
my hand hurt. I just wanted something to numb the pain for a minute. And to see Ali waking up again and just walking, almost like you could see where he had a smile the first time. You could see I'm a little tired. I don't think he slept well. And seeing Rue curled up with her back towards the television. And I just said, she's gone. She is gone. And it's the way he handled it
Yeah.
throughout those moments.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He's gone through so damn much, man. It seemed like everybody he tried to save, he just couldn't get him past that hump, you
Yeah.
know.
That's why you
And
can't.
I
Those are burdens you just is it's hard to carry or to assist because ultimately
Yeah.
it's up to that other person. So if you begin to
Yeah.
inherit that, you get that feeling. What you about to say, Jay? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say like with this, it wasn't even she seemed like she was over the hump. Because like you said,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't take it to get high. She take it to use it for what it was, to take that pain away. But I want to mention something that I saw on socials and I because there's still something stuff we got to get to. So I just want to stay on this area briefly to where I saw a post where somebody said, suffering your whole life just to die. And they were like women leads in TV series being killed off in the finale episode, and so they use Rue as an example, 11 from Stranger
Mm-hmm.
Things and Danny from Game of Thrones. And it was like all written by men. So I want to get y'all's opinion on that because do you feel like that is an argument worth having, or is it more so you're picking and choosing where you see a similar like outcome when that's not
Mm-hmm.
the majority when it comes to TV shows? So I'm Jason, I'm gonna start with you on that.
I also saw that post and I was going to bring it up. I would need to research this a bit more to see more shows written by women to be able to actually fully answer that question. But um now Game of Thrones ending, I feel like all these endings made sense based on where the story was going. 11, 11, because of 11, they were going to just keep on, people were going to just keep on going after her to make her do something. So it only made sense for her to, air quote die because we don't think she
Mm-hmm.
actually died. She went
Right.
Right.
elsewhere in the story. Rue's situation could have gone either way. And I know people wanted this people because people look for that happy ending. And when you don't, oftentimes that's just not how life is. And sometimes you have to be accepting of that because how many TV shows have you watched where the men protagonists or the lead have died or they go off, get strung. Like I said, we if you watch Snowfall, there's no way you look at Snowfall season one and expect Franklin to be where he is when it ends. That's not something that you expect.
Because he
And like I
had a
said,
mama like Sissy.
and like I
I'm
said,
sorry.
and with and with Danny, like I said, I think even her situation made sense. Like I said, if you just pay attention to season one, her
Mm-hmm.
dad got killed by them. Now he had lost his mind, but her on the backside of it, sometimes you don't know the full story or the true story. You just get the story from what everybody has told you, and they told her a story based on what they needed from her, not what the actual thing was. Hey, your dad just started tripping and he started taking people out, and this is the outcome that happened, unfortunately. But in that, she got locked out and she got
Right.
treated, and her journey to the end was bullshit. And she was like, you know what, fuck that. Y'all got to feel my wrath at this point. So I
Right.
personally don't feel like that, but I'm also not a woman, so that's something that I feel. How do you feel about that?
So, I mean, I definitely agree with you saying with Rue, I came into this thinking, okay, Rue's not going to survive out of this. I feel like nobody was going to have a happy ending. It's just like
Mhm.
Snowfall. Didn't see Franklin getting a happy ending. Which character from The Wire got a happy ending? None of them. So it's just like depending on the type of show and tone that it's been giving the entire season can kind of let you know where it's going to end up in the end, regardless if your antagonist is a male or a female. And
Right.
so, but with getting those three examples, I was just like, huh. But then I was also like, well, we don't really know if 11 is alive or dead. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, Jason, Danny and Rue, that those deaths didn't shock me. I was more so like, okay, how are they going to die? More so, are they going to die? But Anthony, what do you think?
I think Danny's death was boring. I think Rue's death was just immaculate and beautiful, sad but beautiful. Um, 11, as we've all said, we don't know. This is D&D. People come back, yo. But to the original poster, if that's how they feel, that's how they feel. It's what they interpret from the situation. You take three of the biggest shows, and you find I guess a common denominator. The the big lead dies. Guess what? Niggas die every day, B. Um, in television, I'm saying that more as television characters. Uh, as Jason said, I agree 100%. I am not a woman. I can't speak on that on how I feel. Men write the stories how they see fit, just like a woman writer or a woman director, a woman producer create shows on how they see things and see how the story should run, and that's how it fits. Sam Levinson said in his interviews, people like that don't always get the happy ending. Period, point blank. Um, I think sometimes when we look at shows and movies, we still have in the back of our mind a fairy tale ending.
Time.
Even when it comes to moments of, well, this show deals with heavy subject matter. We still want a fairy tale ending for characters that we've come to know, love, and cherish. Point blank, you know. And with Ruby Bennett, we went on a serious roller coaster ride of that had addiction, love, trust, betrayal, friendship, and it hit us, and we took that ride and it was going 100 miles an hour. And when that ride finally came to its destination, that destination is a part of reality, and that is death,
Yeah.
you know. And
And
I think even, let's say Sam Levinson was Samantha Levinson, and Sam
Would have
has
saw
already
more
said,
dicks. Sorry.
yeah, probably so, probably so. It would have been like girls with more drugs. Um, I think we would still get the same ending because the mentality and mindset, if everything was the same way, I think we still would have saw Ruby go to the upper room. And I think we'd still get it in that fashion because the way they took her out with 42 damn minutes in 42 damn minutes of the show and made us sit there for an hour without her. And we had to see every character who she's interacted with have to go through that death. They were us. And that made so much sense. And that's what made the episode a lot more powerful. I don't think we'd be having the same feelings if Ruby walked away from this like she did season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
I don't think we have those feelings because we've been spoon fed again a Disney ending. Sometimes when
Yeah.
you go through hell, you don't come out.
Yeah.
That's just
yeah.
me.
That's
That's just me.
that's true. Jason, did you have one more thing to add to this before we pivot?
The other thing I was going to say was I'm not the most hopeful, but I don't really see people being hopeful. Now, but I'm going to this. I don't see a lot of people being hopeful today. So for people wanting to watch a TV show and to get a good outcome, y'all full of shit. Y'all are so full of shit. Most situations you see, when I go down my timeline, most people are so negative about everything. They don't if Rue was a real person, y'all would not show her grace. Y'all would spit in
Mm-mm.
her face. Y'all would shit on her. Y'all wouldn't show her no love. Y'all wouldn't do any of this bullshit that y'all doing because y'all want the kid. Y'all show all this love to people on TV, but y'all don't show everyday people the same love, the same grace, and the same hope that they can beat or get out of a situation all the time. I say that all the time. Like it grinds my gear. Like I said, I try to remain hopeful because I know if I go to a dark place, what's going to come on the other side of that. So y'all full of
Yeah.
shit, man. Stop doing that. Stop all
Yeah.
that bullshit. Like I get it, y'all love the character, and I didn't want her to go as well, but it just made sense on the trajectory that she was on, in my personal opinion. Personal
And the
opinion.
Yeah.
poster was looking
Uh,
more for a patriarchy kind of thing. if you
Yeah.
really look at it. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't no
men.
fit.
And
Well,
I'm gonna let the women
yeah.
have this. I ain't gonna speak on that
yeah,
part.
that I said my little piece. If they mad at
Yeah.
me, they mad at me. But you're
But
not gonna look at that in any
yeah.
other lens.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all insight on that, fellas. But let's go ahead and get to Alamo and the shootout that happened at the club because we gotta wrap this up real quick, real quick.
What a
So,
great
Anthony,
Western.
I'm going to go to you. Right. It was definitely giving Western vibes, and I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is very interesting. So, with you seeing Ali go into the club, and
Mm-hmm.
then with everything that transpired, with it ending with Bishop dropping those bullets.
There's no man coming into the club with a military uniform, and I'm staying in that bitch. Oh no, that brother, that nigga there,
Even if you got two ladies in your lap and you got a
Jazz,
handful
get
of
this ass off me. Get this ass off me.
Jason said, no, no,
But
no, this ain't safe no more, ladies. Y'all come with me. Let's go to the car.
yes, indeed.
I can throw these dollars on you on the front of the car.
Oh man. Oh
Turn my
man.
speaker on.
Can
But
can I just say Coleman Domingo is that dude, man. I never thought I would have as much praise for him as I've had for Zendaya. Because Ali is a very small character. But
yeah,
the way he portrays him, the energy that he just emits from this character, it, he makes Ali bigger than pretty much 50% of the cast members, 50% of the characters in here. You pay attention to Ali, but I know you're trying to get
Yeah,
to
what you
where we
finna say,
going.
Jazz?
no, I was asking Anthony like his thoughts during that entire like
Okay,
exchange
got you.
before
Mm-hmm.
Alamo pretty much got
Oh,
shot in that chest.
I felt like I was watching High Noon with Gary Cooper. It was such a great Western, old school Western moment. Also, very, very intense 70s, 80s kind of crime drama where you have, you know, the big heavy about to do some crazy shit to some people. But I
Right.
got to have a moment. I got to have a moment, the calm before the storm. And one shout out to whoever said, um, Ali needed to come with his military haircut because that man had enough time to put on his whole military uniform and go get a haircut with a crisp
Yeah.
lining,
His hair was a
beautifully
little
crisp.
nappy at the it was a little rough looking when he was
It
at the
was a little
meeting. So
rough in
that's
the
a
At the
moment.
good,
meeting,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
he went, yeah,
At the
he went
meeting,
and got
yeah.
he went and
but
got
he
chopped up.
yeah,
He
okay,
was
yeah,
ready.
that's
He
good.
was casket ready.
Yes,
He was, wasn't
that's
he? Because he
With
went
thank
his
there
you.
with the
uniform
intention
on.
of I could
Yes,
survive or I could die. It don't matter. But I'm taking Alamo Brown with me.
out, and I'll do it with a crispy, beautiful lineup.
Yeah.
But it was a very intense scene. I love how they shot it. I love the moment when who was it? Um, was it one of the girls that came up to him,
Kitty.
It was Kitty.
Kitty,
I
and
like a
asked him
man in uniform.
the farm, where's the manager? Well, he's up. Let me talk to the manager. And
Yeah,
I'm sorry, we have seen Kitty's more of Kitty's BBL than we did Jules. Let's
we
also keep
did.
that in mind. Um, I love that moment when she goes to get G and she's like, man, what the fuck you want with me? G shows up, he got his piece, he's ready to go. Nah, dog, you are not in control. So that right there told me. It reminded me of a Scarface song where he goes, I know I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna take some niggas with me.
Oh yeah.
And he was not there to play around. And then he locks the damn door with a bike lock.
Yeah, he was ready. He said, "Ain't nobody
Nobody's
getting
going.
out."
Nobody
Uh,
getting out. We're here now. And you see a man who's not broken. Ali is not broken. I don't think so. Even at that moment at the AA meeting, not AA meeting. I think it's
The
no, it was
meeting.
like
narcotics.
counseling or
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a council
We
meeting.
yeah,
yeah.
Um,
drugs
even at
anonymous,
that
baby.
moment when he came to his realization, There is only good and there is evil. There is only right and there is wrong. The shades of gray are gone
Yeah.
with Ali. I think he had the epiphany. We are right down the line. It's black and white. I don't have
Hmm.
time to look for the intricacies and the small details. No, bitch. You took away a soul,
Yeah.
a beautiful soul, regardless of how much dirt and grime was on it, how much it was in the muck and the mire of life and the pain. Ruby Bennett was a beautiful soul. You took that
Hmm.
away. So now I got to do what I got to do. I think Ali was the father figure that Ruby needed and wanted,
Yeah.
since her dad died.
Yeah.
And he did the fatherly thing. You
He called.
took a child, you took my child. I'm
He
taking
rec
you.
at even like to the end when he went to that family's house, he was like, my daughter was here. She said this was a place
Yes.
that felt, calm, and they were just like, Ruby. So like
Mm-hmm.
him even saying like that was my daughter, you obviously
Yeah.
see the pain and everything. Like he was that father going to avenge his daughter in that moment. And I definitely love that scene because I was just like, yep, you did the right thing. You did nothing
Oh,
wrong.
and you know
But
why? Because he lost his daughter because of the bullshit he did. Keep
yeah,
in
His
mind,
actual daughter.
he
yeah.
lost his actual daughter. This
Hmm.
is
So
my daughter by proxy. This is my, you know, I guess you know how we say we play cousins. That's not play
yeah,
daughter, but that's my
right.
daughter in spirit. We are connected. We were both addicts. We found some kind of freedom. I'm trying to keep her on that path. You took that away.
And he
And
had
now
to
I
go do
got
what
to
he had to
take you
do.
out. I got to do what I
But
got to do. You're not going, the man
yeah,
used to be a boxer. He ready for
yeah.
a fight.
But
So it was,
Jason,
it was crazy.
yeah, Jason, when you saw Bishop pretty much double cross Alamo, were you expecting that? And if
Hell,
you weren't, okay,
Mm-mm.
so what was your reaction to that?
hell no, I didn't. I don't know what the fuck I was. I was like, man, this shit gonna. So I didn't expect him to double cross him that way. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that. So what I thought was going to happen was it was going to. I did think he was going to cross him, but I didn't think he was going to cross him that early. I thought they were going to kill Ali. That Bishop would then kill Alamo,
Mm.
and then he would leave out with Maddie. That's what I thought was going to happen. So when he played him and he switched out the gun and the bullets, I said, "What the fuck?" But then he cheated. But he also cheated because
He
he
Mm.
did.
wasn't supposed to raise the gun until the bottle shattered,
Right.
and then he rose the gun before that. And I don't know. I think maybe he thought or he may have known how Alamo moved because he had been around Alamo
Yeah.
enough to know. But he was fed up with Alamo. He been fed up with Alamo with some of the
Alamo was
stuff.
not
Like I
an
said.
honorable man.
So when had
So
him killed, he had him kill that animal. He said it was the job, but he was mad about that when he killed that bird.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So let me just ask this. And I'm gonna ask you first, Jason, yes or no. Do you think that Bishop knew Ali was coming into the club that night?
Nah.
Okay. Anthony, what about you?
Mm-mm. Oh,
Okay.
but I do want to add something. There was a scene that got cut out that would
It was
have changed our answers.
But that tweet, it turned out to not be correct. The
Okay,
tweet
my
turned out to
bad.
be, yeah. I would have
Okay,
definitely brought that
damn,
up. Yeah, it turned out, yeah.
all
The
I
AI
said that would have
said,
been
this is a
crazy.
lie. This is a lie.
How
But
dare you play me, internet?
right. That would have pissed me off. So I'm kind of glad it wasn't real.
Yeah,
So, because I'm just like, how are you fumbling stuff like that, but you got these unnecessary sex scenes.
right.
But
But also, remember the story Bishop said about that snake?
yeah, I saw that
Mm-hmm.
tweet too. I'm like Bishop. I saw that same tweet on Instagram, but we gonna have to wrap this up, unfortunately,
Okay.
because we got another review after this. But I definitely want to go ahead and mention with Cassie and Maddie pretty much getting their friendship back together and them having working with the girls and Cassie keeping the house, even though obviously Nate is still missing. His murder was not reported, and it's just like Cassie just, I don't know where he went, but maybe he'll pretty much come back. So I thought that was very interesting of how they decided to close that story out.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in the end, because Maddie told Cassie, I think either season one or two, she was like, "You're my soulmate." So obviously she spoke that into fruition. But I also want to mention Alamo over here telling Maddie, "You gonna give me four chocolate babies." And the relief on her face when Alamo got shot in the chest, she said, "Woof, I'm free, y'all. I got my
And
money."
Them cocoa
not
butter
just in the
babies.
chest.
Right.
Yeah, cocoa butter, but also in the
It
face.
was,
Because I
yeah,
have you got to give it to Ali. Ali said, just in case,
he did
bomb,
that.
and
And that was when
finished
he
it.
tapped into when Sam tapped into his Tarantino bag because Tarantino loves splatting blood everywhere.
Yep.
But I do think of how this episode ended with him going to that family's home and that
Mm-hmm.
prayer at the end, and then you see Rue pop up. That was when the tears started flowing for me because I said, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, Coleman Domingo, you saved this season.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, my brother."
Yeah.
Hmm.
But that is pretty
But
much
that smile. Oof.
we are
No, it was
closing the
that smile.
chapter.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm like, Anthony, I'm trying to get us out of here.
Oh yeah, I know.
But
I was just thinking about her smile because that was
nah,
something, Lexi brought up and Cassie brought up, and I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, she does have a pretty smile, and it's very hard to
Zendaya
break.
and Coleman definitely, and I'm gonna say the actor that played Alamo, those three are the main ones that definitely
Mm-hmm.
carry this season for me. Cassie,
Hmm.
she did great, but her storyline for me just felt pointless to a certain extent to where I'm just like,
Yeah.
you performed well, but all these other three, their stories and their performances definitely carried the season for me. But
And she
the
ended up like her
reason
mama.
why, right? But the reason why we are here, Anthony, was it good though?
Whoo! You mean the season or just the episode?
Just the season as a whole, was it good though?
Because of 6, 7, and 8, yes, the season was
Okay.
good.
Okay. Jason, was it good though?
Yes, ma'am. Jazz. Was it good though?
Yes, these last three episodes definitely saved it for me. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad this is how you end a series. And yeah, it was a good time. But gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm saying that like Jason don't already live here. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us for closing out this side quest
Oh,
review.
appreciate it.
Y'all,
Thank y'all
please
for
be sure to
having me.
check out Talking Ish, a podcast amongst friends. Anthony and the queens of podcasting over there talking and doing their thing. And check out our episode that we just dropped. We did I Love Boosters. And since we are turning 4 this month, me and Jason have a special episode dropping. So for anybody that's new here, please be sure to like, subscribe, rate, review. And until next time, cheers.
Deuces.